Okay, so today I'm talk about the monitoring and the centralized logging we have in Ceph and how it's integrated in the Ceph dashboard as well. So, well, we were two actually, Ashish were there, but well, some visa issues, so unfortunately it's not here. I'm the only one doing both the presentation. And here it's me, Avan. I'm a software engineer at IBM. I have 3 years of experience working with the Ceph, mostly maintaining Ceph dashboard. I have tried monitoring as well, some Ceph ADM, and yeah, now doing some contribution in Rook. And yeah, some my activity sports, and I read some afternoon articles, weekend afternoons. Yeah, that's I find best. And okay, well, let's start with the overview. Well, I will talk about why monitoring is important in Ceph, the tools which we use for monitoring, and well, how this helps us identify the issues in the Ceph. Okay, then let's start with why monitoring is important in Ceph. Well, of course, first of all, it helps us track the health and the performance of the cluster, and yeah, also helps ensuring the reliability and the scalability of your cluster. Um, then you can also track the usage of your disk, of your the OSDs, the whole cluster capacities, and yeah, everything. And yeah, of course, troubleshooting. That's the main purpose to help us identify any issues we get through the monitoring. Okay, so now I will jump on to the tools which we use, and first I will show you the Prometheus tech, the Prometheus services which we have, which are like the Node Explorer is the we deploy it in the Ceph basically on each node to get all the machine metrics. You can get the disk occupation and many other metrics which we are exploring, and some of them I have even listed it down. It's like CPU and memory utilization, the network load, drop error rate, all the disk related metrics, the IOPS throughput latency, and the usage. And well, then we have the Prometheus data source itself, the UI, where you can just search through all the metrics and, yeah, of course, query them using that PromQL. I know PromQL is quite of difficult that you have to adopt to it, like how you write it, but well, there is ChatGPT nowadays, so maybe it can help. So. And well, we have other configurations. These are the configuration which Prometheus module provides, which are server address port, scrape interval is useful configuration in to help the Prometheus exporter, which we have to know that after what interval it will scrape the metrics from the Ceph, which Prometheus then scrapes it, because it by default it's 15 seconds in the Prometheus. So yeah, it has to match. So that's one of the important configuration, the scrape interval. Then we have the alert manager. Well, the name already suggests it's all about the alerts and its management. So it basically receives from the Prometheus and sent to the receiver. And in Ceph, one of it is Ceph dashboard. And we have, the user-defined alert rules. Basically, we have the Prometheus alert rules file where you can define any alerts you want and basically, receive the notification based on that in the Ceph dashboard. Okay, now I will, also, one more point is the SNMP gateway service, which was recently added into Quincy, as far as I know. So, yeah, alert, some SNMP alerts, you can just, you can add the SNMP daemons URL in the alert manager config, and yeah, you can send those alerts to the SNMP gateway daemons as well. And now we have Grafana. Well, it's all the visual of what we collect. So yeah, some of the pre-built dashboards which are in Ceph, they are the cluster overview for the OSDs. You can list all the the details of it, per OSD, and also the overall performance for it. Also, we have similar for the pools, so host, for RGW, and also the sync status. Basically, it's the multi-site sync, where you can basically look at the latency throughput and what number of objects are getting replicated from the source zone. We will see the screenshot just after this. RBD is there. Yeah, for all the components, we have all this Grafana dashboards integrated in Ceph dashboard itself under the cluster component. And Yeah, these are all the list, and we can also add new data source in the Grafana, as you know, and view it. So yeah, that may be useful in case you are doing multi-cluster monitoring. Let's say you want to add one more Prometheus instance of your other cluster and want to monitor in the same your Grafana UI. Then you can add a extra Prometheus data source. And yeah, of course, you can also list the alert rules. Now I'm just showing this some of the Grafana dashboard, just cluster overview. This, as you can see, is everything almost about the cluster. It's like all about the Ceph daemons. The manager is active standbys for the MDS, mons, everything. And also some of the OSDs and some capacities, throughputs, latencies, graphs are there. And one more I will show is I was saying the multi-site sync. This is how it looks like currently for the multi-site from the source zone. There are like some throughput latency objects you transfer, and yeah, which were the failures from the source zone. So these are current graphs, but yeah, we are looking forward to get more based on the metrics we get and the requirements we get. So yeah, any feedback on the adding more Grafana dashboard? Yeah, please drop us. And now we have the Ceph dashboard. Well, this is how it looks like, the new landing page, V3. Some of you may have already seen in the developer summit. And I will go through some of the cards which we have, which use for monitoring. One is the status card. Yeah, it provides basically the real-time monitoring of your cluster health. And yeah, you can view, click that alerts, and you can view which are the rates. It's the, okay, you have danger ones and warning ones. So yeah, you can see through it, and there are no any actions yet. You can just see that, okay, there is something going on, something wrong. And then we have the capacity card. Basically, it's just a double donut card where the outer ring, it represents the near and full threshold ratios, which are configured for the OSDs, and the inner one is like the cluster capacity with the current one. And then we have the cluster utilization card, which basically gives you the overall performance of your cluster. Some of them are like here, using the used capacity, the IOPS, then the latency, client throughput, and the recovery throughput. And yeah, there are also embedded Grafana dashboard, as I said. This is an example of the OSD details where you can view this dashboards per OSD. And yeah, it's almost the same, and that is similar. If you look at the overall performance, you will see for all the OSDs. So it's average of what you see for all OSDs. And there are alerts and notifications as well, which we'll later see in the demo. And okay, now we have done all the tools. So some important topic we are getting into is like how we collect this metrics in Ceph, which we provide these two tools. So yeah, as you may familiar with, first of all, I will go with the Prometheus module. So basically, I'm showing its design right now. Like what it does is basically gets all the data from the MGR module API, the manager. And there is just a single Prometheus exporter responsible for fetching all this. And yeah, it just then exposes to this metrics endpoint. And yeah, some of them, there are many cluster-wide metrics, and there are some component-level metrics as well, which it exposes. Cluster health, then mon quorum, then pool OSD stats, RBD, per image IO stats. And yeah, recently this was introduced as well. You can view the daemon health metrics as well in the Grafana. And well, now I will talk to like what happens to the module when you have a large-scale cluster, maybe with more than thousands of OSDs. So, well, it overloads the manager because there is just a single exporter, which is basically trying to collect all the data for the daemons, like thousands of daemons. So, well, there may be, of course, some performance issues, and it also overloads the manager because it's trying to send all these performance metrics every 5 seconds. That's the stats period. So that's a huge load, and well, when the Prometheus at the end, it's just, well, it's too hard to handle the server itself, so it goes 503 error, unresponsive. And so why this happens, as I just said, it's like there are thousands of daemons to go through the for loop for each, and yeah, and getting this from the manager is a huge load. So what's the solution for this? Well, we do the horizontal scalability. Instead of having just a single exporter, now we will have a exporter per node. So basically, and no need to use MGR as well, because we have socket files which can directly pass through. So this is what the new the Ceph exporter daemon does. Basically, it collects all the data from directly through the socket files, which and runs all the perf dump and perf schema to build the metrics. So it's similar to Prometheus module in building the metrics and all their formats, but the only difference it takes is like it's a per node design, and yeah, it doesn't need to load the MDR for it. It gets directly from the socket files. Why I already said, to make more performant and large scale clusters. And how it does it, this is basically the design on per hosted Ceph exporter daemon is deployed, and then yeah, Prometheus scraps each of those endpoints. And this is all about the monitoring in Ceph right now. I will show a demo at the end for in the Ceph dashboard, like how you can view the alerts and notifications which you get from monitoring tools, and how you can create silences in dashboard for that, and so on. For now, I will move to the next topic, which is the centralized logging. Well, logs are important friend of developers and many others who ever use the admins, SREs, everyone. So we need a good structure, architecture, which helps us determine the issue quicker, and don't have to look around like everywhere for different daemon logs. We don't have to go and go into that daemon, execute and find their logs. And also, what's the solution? That is, well, we collect them all at one place. Yeah, this is, so it's a process of just collecting the logs from multiple system application. It depends on the use case. And what does it give? It's basically, yeah, it improves troubleshooting by making it more easy. You don't have to search around. Then simplifies the log management. You can get like with the tools, you can get the different log formats however you want, and better analytics, reporting, and enhanced security, because through the logs you can determine if there is any security leaks or beforehand and can resolve. Okay, so how is centralized logging implemented? We use two tools. One is Loki and other is the Promptel. Loki is, of course, not the Marvel character, but it's as powerful as the character. Yeah, so that we can send. It also has the similar query language as Prometheus does. So, well, it's quite, you can say, while tightly integrated with what current monitoring stack we have in Ceph. And another is the Promptel. Well, it's a pretty lightweight agent which sits on each node and then collects all your logs wherever you're mounted. You just provide the path and gets it, and it pushes to the Loki endpoint which you provide. This is what I'm going to explain in the architecture. It sits on each node, the Promptel, and then it sends to the Loki. And well, it goes into the Grafana, because in Grafana you can add a data source for Loki, and you can view the UI and do all the log filterings, and you can even do the live, you can even see the live logs which are coming through. So why Loki and Promptel we decided? So first of all, I would say it's like tightly integrated with what we have, the Prometheus Grafana stack, which we have. It's pretty much tightly integrated with the current stack. And it also, Loki is, scalable. It can handle high volumes of log data. It has different log formats now. I even saw in like 2.8.0, they have like pretty much many operations you can do on the logs. You can specify log formats you want. You can even filter by the text, and even the regex you can provide. So many things Loki has been providing. And Promptel, as you know, like, it's a log agent. It's a lightweight, easily deployable, and it's also provides of filtering and labeling functionalities. And it's of course scalable because it's a per node design as well. So you can go for that. And and other last reason is already mentioned. They are tightly integrated with the Prometheus ecosystem. And okay, now we may have some questions about the performance, because what points we looked into it when we were deploying this. So some of it I will go through it. One is the high availability, of course. Like right now, you say I just saw in the architecture that is just one Loki which we deploy. So what if that goes down, or or some Promptel goes down? I don't think in a Promptel if it goes down, you may still have some other daemons running on the node, so it may not be of issue, a single point failure, but in Loki you may have. So in documentation, as we specify, you can have two instances deploy for Loki, or once you deploy it, you need to restart some of the services because that endpoint will get changed, and we need to provide to the prompter, this is the new endpoint which you need to push to. So you may need to restart those services. And next is what happens in case of the network failure. Network failure between something goes on, they cannot connect Promptel Loki. Well, Promptel does stores the logs. So, well, as soon as it keeps the track of all the logs, log data which you have. So once you have the established reconnection, then well, it just sends back to the Loki server. So that's pretty much handled as well. And next is there any impact on the storage network traffic? Okay, so well, depending on yeah, so it's like when you have, like, as I said, thousands of daemons or like a large scale cluster again, then it will be a huge load, but Loki does provides the solution to that as well. It has a compression algorithm you can, I mean, basically they format somehow and does the compression, you can reduce the log data size. And also filtering, which Promptels provides, and you can also do the filtering and labeling in the prompt itself, and then can send accordingly to the Loki. And okay, what's the retention period? We will talk about for Loki, how long it will keep my log data. Then basically there are some policies which I mentioned here. It's like some parameter, retention period parameter you can use, and you can mention. Basically, I think it by default is keeping for 30 days or so, but yeah, you can mention your retention period, like for how long you want it. And yeah, that's all about the presentation. And yeah, for the demo, I do have the Ceph cluster for alerts and notifications for Loki, and well, something's wrong in my Grafana config, so I can show recording of it. But so well, hopefully that saves me. And I will switch to my okay. It doesn't show up. Okay, I think I probably.
Recorded है?
It's not.
कौन सा ये है?
Okay.
अरे कौन सा स्क्रीन है?
This.
ये स्क्रीन है। एक सेकंड चुप रहो। यहाँ पे आ गया।
Okay, now I got it. Yeah, okay, so basically this is how it looks like the cluster monitoring. You can see the active alerts. You can list them and see the details in it. And yeah, you can. It helps us. It also gives the description of it, so you can determine what you can do or what's wrong with this. Basically, we have this Prometheus alert files which we have defined. Some of the predefined alerts we already have, which shows up. There are many others like for OST down, for any Moncorum status failure. There are many Prometheus alert rule files which we have by default, and well, you can change it, and you can even, if the alerts get triggered, you can even see in the notification like there is some health warning, and these are all the notifications which will come up. And if they get resolved, then okay, a message comes that is resolved. And also, if you want to silence any of the alerts, you can directly silence the alert through here. Or you could create some silences for some alerts, and yeah, there is you can do the create silence and add any of the comments and for how what duration you need to silence that alert, you could do that. And yeah, these are the alerts which are the history. You can see like what alerts came up, and this is just the active, and yeah, it shows the count of the different types of alerts as well here. So this is I can show some of the embedded, but I don't have, as I said, the Grafana configured correctly right now, so you won't see it. But basically, you can see like over performance here and some of the other stuff. But well, it's right now not up, so I cannot show it. And also for the logs, we have also embedded those the logs. The centralized logs, which comes from the Loki, we have embedded here as well. But for that, you will need the orchestrator module. I mean, any of the Ceph ADM, for example, if you have it enabled, it by default deploys this Loki prompted services. If you don't have the skip monitoring stack flag set, and yeah, this is for the monitoring. And for the centralized logging, I can quickly show you the demo. Okay. Yeah, so basically this is the Grafana UI, and from here you can see the data sources, which is the Loki right now, and this is the query, which we basically provide. You can add query, you can, there are many other functions. You can also look at this log volumes which are coming to the Loki here, and yeah, basically these are the logs which you will see here, which are coming up right now. And yeah, I will quickly play the recording. So yeah, these are all the you can search through the file names. You can search by the job. So file names, yeah, which the Promptel got through the host, which were mounted on it. And yeah, you can even see the live logs through this. This is basically. And yeah, that I show the add query. You can add a filter by any of the tags, regex, and so on in the add query. But yeah, for this is currently the 2.4.0 version, which we have in the Ceph right now by default. In the Ceph ADM, it deploys it. But I recently checked that in 2.8.0, you don't have to check like what query I need to add to filter those things. Like for example, you want to search just the dashboard things or the logs with the error text or the debug, whatever. For that, right now, if you use 2.4.0, you need to provide a query externally here in the query toolbar. And but in 2.8.0, there are many operations. You can even filter them. You can add some operations, and it will filter by its own. So yeah, we are looking forward to it, to upgrade this Loki version to make it more simpler. And I think yeah, that's all for the demo as well. And I think yeah, I'm ready for taking any questions now. So please. Yeah, please.
If you want to use this, an external Grafana instance, is it possible to export the built-in dashboards if you want to reuse the layout and the...
Built-in basically in dashboard, Ceph dashboard is just embedding. It's just the iframes which we are doing. It's just the same Grafana UI you will see in the Ceph dashboard as well. But if you are so you are basically trying to use your external Grafana dashboard into the Ceph dashboard. You want to embed. That's what you mean.
Yeah, so I don't have to look at the internal Ceph dashboards to see how the cluster is operating, but using my already running external dashboards that show...
Yeah, that you can still see, right? If you just add the Prometheus data source, which Ceph turned up, then you can just add that data source to your Grafana instance, I guess, and then you will be able to see in your Grafana itself. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yep.
About the Ceph exported unit, it's running across all the Ceph nodes today.
Yes.
And where does it push the data eventually to?
It basically does the same thing as module. It exposes the metrics endpoint where it exposes all this metrics in the Prometheus format. And yeah.
So while configuring this, you have to provide the endpoint where it needs to go and publish the metrics. Is you mean? I still
No,
don't get-
it basically takes the host IP. It's on per node, right? So
Right.
it basically then pushes to that host IP / the metrics endpoint. So then Prometheus, in the Prometheus config, you can then add your all the script configs that these are the endpoints you need to script. And yeah, so Prometheus will get all the data from those exporters. Yeah.
Cool. Thanks.
Yeah, please. Excuse me.
Can we add on alert rules from result of log QL, like some kind of error messages or error logs that happens, then get some alert from that?
For the alert rule, as far as I know, we have a YAML right now, so you may need to add it to those, define those rules in that YAML, and then you need to restart your alert manager, so it can get back those alerts.
Same as prom QL and log QL?
Yes.
Yeah, thank you.
Hello.
Hi.
So regarding alert manager, what's happening if the MGR is down? Is it still sending alerts? I mean,
What happens if
if the MGR is down, for example? Is the alert manager running on a separate component?
Yes,
Okay.
it does run, yeah.
And can you add also an external alert manager that you have already or not?
Yeah, you can, I think you can add it because it's all like alert manager is receiving everything to Prometheus. So I think it goes the same way as I mentioned for external Grafana as well. If you mention in your alert manager configuration that this is the Prometheus instance which you have to look on and get the data from, then yeah, I think it should be fine to have your own
Okay,
external one.
thanks.
Yeah,
In your dashboard, normally when you use Prometheus, you can just set an external, like influx to be to long-time storage of the metrics, because that solution, how long time does that save your metrics? 3 weeks? If you look at the Prometheus? That
in- the Prometheus I think is 15 days as far as I know,
Yeah.
the retention period, yeah.
so it's possible to change
Yeah,
Prometheus.
there are some configurations. Yeah, you could
Okay.
do that. Yeah.
The Ceph exporter, from what version is it split up per host?
Well, right now we are expecting to release in the Quincy.6 for the recent, but there was some regression, so we still need to adopt some of the functionalities which the Prometheus module has. For example, I would say like some formatting which we do, the Prometheus format it needs. So yeah, some of it we may need to do some sanitization of the metrics. So that's still missing. We need to add some it. So probably in Reef we are now looking forward. Yeah.
More or less a similar question. I'm a little bit unsure how much of what you have shown here is already available in Ceph, released Ceph, or what is to come.
Yeah, the Ceph Explorer remote I showed, it's to become, and these are the for the logging and the monitoring that we already have in the dashboard, and also the Grafana.
So the
Yeah.
the Loki is already
Yeah,
there.
it's there.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now that the Ceph exporter will run in each host, I guess you need to maintain the list of hosts to scrape on the Prometheus server. But how this list is maintained is dynamically, because if you add a new OSD.
Yeah, for the Ceph ADM, if we do, it's like pretty simple because it also deploys monitoring services by default. So it just it has already the IP and it provides it to that daemon. Right?
So you need to use the Ceph ADM.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyone else? I think that's all. Thank you.